Alrighty, we are live streaming. Yes, we are live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube. This is the second call of the day. For those brand new people who are watching online today, Michael Firth, one of the founding advisory board members and crowns with the company. I'm your host today. We have members night running usually 6 p.m. Mountain Time every single week, but we also do a double session sometimes. And the first session is usually a recognition one that happens in both 11 a.m. for the Northern Hemisphere and then 6 p.m. for the Southern Hemisphere. So we are on the tail end of that, and that's why you'll see a lower number of people on this call than the previous call earlier in the day. So last month, we pioneered a new idea, which was we know that most diamonds would be doing the right thing by their groups and orientating all of their group and having regular sessions and so forth. But we know there's a lot of people who maybe they don't know who their diamond is and they need to be put on the straight and narrow of how to build a Numi business. Now, the cool thing is that it's predictable, meaning if success leaves clues, if someone hits crown or double crown or diamond, then they obviously did something to get there. And we like those people to share. So last month I did the orientation with our CEO, Aaron Rennett, which talked about the Numi 123 and the 5 ways to profit. Today we have Karen Justice, who is a double crown in the team, and she's going to be talking about that as well. So with that in mind, we are playing a recording of this morning's session, ladies and gentlemen, because we don't want to have them just say the same thing twice. But with that, I just want to preempt with you that there were some technical difficulties. So for those of you who are lion beavers are going, it's got to be my way and the right way. It has to be perfect. Lighten up. Let's just see how this session goes, and we'll share some amazing stuff coming out of Karen's mouth. And to kick it off, we're going to be hearing from Sergio Delamora. So if you don't have a pen and paper out right now, just remember the sharpest mind remembers less than the bluntest pencil. So please get a pen out if you've got a blunt pencil, and we'll kick off today's event.
And according to 3, 2, 1. All right. Well, welcome everybody. Let's get going. Today we have a very special meeting. Welcome from all over the world. We're excited for what's happening. As you saw, we will have a tour before the summit, right? We're going from event to event. A lot of good energy here at the office as we're counting down daily as we head into summit. Before you know it, we're all going to be together. And if you haven't purchased your ticket, now it's the time to do it. We will have this information there on the chat for you. And just a friendly reminder, only 800 seats available for this wonderful 5-year celebration. So you do not want to miss out. Tickets are going fast, and we're working with Diamonds as they're buying big packs for their groups. So don't miss out. We want you to be part of this 5-year celebration. It'll be historic. And to start things off today, just a quick reminder, what do we got going in the month of May? Well, we have the Momentum promotion, and that's a good promotion that we have that will allow you to enroll members. So just remember, this is member enrollment driven, and all you need to do is enroll either 3, 6, or 9 members during the month of May. I recommend going for all 9 personally, because that will get you a total of 45% on commission. So how does this work? You will get 25% upfront like you always do on your weekly checks. And then the rest will be paid out to you with Unilevel the following month, okay? So I'll give you a quick example. If you enroll 3 new members with 100 PV or more, you will get the 25% up front the following week, and then you will get the remaining 10% to make that a total of 35 the following month. You can definitely take advantage of that. That's available to all markets all month of May, so do not miss out on that. Now, I'm very happy that we're taking the initiative to have these onboarding experiences now. Aaron has been having a vision of what he wants a lot of these trainings and moments that come together to be. So we're actually targeting every month people that sign up the previous month and making sure they're part of these onboarding calls. And thanks to our wonderful crowns who are also supporting us in this wonderful movement, you can now plan for us to meet every second Wednesday twice a day, so the same times, 11 a.m. Mountain Daylight Savings Time, which is now, and then we'll have another live session at 6 p.m. on the traditional members night time, so that we can make sure that the whole world gets advantage to these calls. and we're very excited. So I'm going to take the time now to welcome our keynote speaker from the corporate side today, none else than our wonderful friend and CEO, Aaron Renard. Welcome, Aaron.
Well, Sergio, thank you very, very much. And for everybody on the call today, I'm certainly pleased to see all of your faces and all of your participation. There is a very important aspect of what we're talking about today, and that is we've always said this, it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter what background you come from. We always talk about the most important people in this business are the new people. And the reason for that is that as we start going through a lot of discussions and dialogue about how people can become successful and what does their first 48 hours look like, and what does the first 90 days look like, and what type of support do they have, and what type of relationships do they have. And sometimes people come into the business, they don't have anybody to help them. They don't have any upline, they don't have any background, they don't have any experience. And so they look for that relationship. They try to find somebody that can give them that confidence that they need to get started. And to be quite honest with you, the difficulty with that is that as you start to work on trying to understand how to help them, you may not have as much background or experience as well. And that is why, as Sergio mentioned, we've incorporated the crowns of Numi, because we have some of the greatest leaders in the industry with Numi that can come in and give us understanding, give us direction, help us with, again, background and experience so that wisdom can shine through, and you can borrow that wisdom. You can use that wisdom to help you grow and learn and understand a little bit better how to help those people that are within your sphere. And those relationships are the ones that you really want to embrace. So I'm excited today because I get to touch on a couple of things that are important to me, which is really how do people get started quickly and start running. Now, the meat and potatoes of all of this and all of the deep details will really be with Karen. Karen Justice is unbelievable. We'll talk about her in a minute, but you'll understand what I'm talking about as she goes through some of her onboarding, tried, proven, and absolute proven methods that will help people understand a little bit better about how to get started with their people or how they can actually get started. So we'll get to that in just a minute. But I do want to remind people, as Sergio mentioned as well, Steve Scott and I, so our great founder, Steve Scott, unbelievable man, great background, an amazing trainer, and somebody that knows more about glutathione than anybody I've met in my entire lifetime, will be with me over in Europe. So we'll have an opportunity to meet with people from Hungary, Romania, France, Spain, and then ending in Italy on Sunday, this a week and a half away, the Sunday coming up. So it's going to be an amazing opportunity for people to really learn a little bit more about what we're doing and how we're doing it, as well as why we see Numi growing like we're seeing it around the world as we've continued to see growth, and why we're seeing people have such great experiences. The benefits of our products, the formulations of our product is incredible. But I'll spend time talking about Hydrostat and really getting into a lot of detail on how Hydrostat works, how it delivers nutrition, and then why you are very interested in what the nutrition delivery looks like for any future products that we may be coming out with. So that's going to be a great opportunity for people to come together and really learn a lot about what we're doing and, again, how we're going to get there. So, Sergio, let's jump into the 5 steps to success, because I will tell everybody, I love this idea of the 5 steps to success. I started doing it years and years ago because I realized and recognized people just needed some basic indications of how to get started. And so again, when you get into a lot of the details, that'll be with Karen. This is a good overview that anybody can learn, anybody can duplicate, because there's not much to it. It really talks about step 1 being your return on your investment, step 2 getting your product for free, step 3 getting to your lifestyle goals, and then step 4 is getting to your rank, which again gives you your ability to tie that to your income opportunity. And then what is your ultimate goal? What's your target income that you're looking to achieve here at Numi? So again, we talk a little bit about this. So let's get started, Sergio, as we jump into the 5 steps. We're really talking about giving people, if we'll go to that next slide, Sergio. Sergio? So what we're really talking about is giving people a clear roadmap and understanding how they can actually start to create the foundations of a successful business. And that's really the drive and the desire that we've got. So again, as we get into slide 3, we're really talking about what are we doing to help people achieve the success that they're looking for. And I always ask this question, and it's a simple question that everybody needs to understand. Are you in business? And it's a simple question that can be started with any of the conversations that you're having with the people that are joining your business. Is it, are you in business? And if you are in business, what do you expect to accomplish out of your business? And are you going to treat it like a business? So some people like to come into the business, come into any type of network marketing, and they walk in the door and they think of it just as a hobby, or they're trying the product. They want to see how it works. They're looking for some more information. They want to get into some of the details, or they just like the community that we've built. They like the culture that we've created here at Numi. They want to be a part of this growth cycle. They want to be a part of the people that are moving and kind of driving and moving forward. So as we look at some of the people that are currently engaged in Numi, we think about, again, those people that are in business. What are they doing to drive their business? And if they're treating it like a business, are they treating it like they have, again, a profit and loss statement? They have financials. They want to run it so that they can see if they're profitable. They can see that they're actually driving up the right levels of success. So as we continue to drive for that, the relationship continues to go that I want to figure out how to get people to the return on their investment. What does that look like for the return on their investment? And so when people join the business, they've invested money into the business. And so when they've invested money into the business, they want to find out, well, that's great. In business, return on investment is the most important part of your business. Think about that. If I've made a capital investment into something that I'm doing, whatever that something looks like, whether it's my Numi business as I grow around the world, my goal, if I open up a new country, I'll use Numi as a good example. If I open up a new country, I have to look at what it costs me to open up that country and what is my outcome, what is my opportunity cost for that country, and then how long will it take me to make back the money that I invested, the capital that I invested to get that country opened. And then me as I have to look at it from a financial perspective. As I look at that return on investment, where will I then see us getting into the black? Where will I see us starting to drive the dollars so that I can see some increase on my income or my revenue stream? And so that's really what you want to look at as well. So if you've invested $100, and I'll use 100 points. How about 100 points? If you've invested 100 points into the business, now you're in business. You've started your business. You've made your capital investment into your business. Your business is you. You are your brand. You're the brand that represents Numi. You're building your brand. You're starting to help people understand what this brand looks like because of the relationship that you're creating with the product, with the compensation or the opportunity in front of you, and then, of course, the community that you're joining. So again, all of these aspects are part and parcel to what we're trying to accomplish. So think about this. Again, if we bring in 4 people at or above the entry level of the 100 points, we're going to see a return on our investment. And so again, as you look at, I've invested 100 points, I've now got to look at, I'm getting a 25% return. So if everybody comes in at that 100 points, real simply put, I'm going to see 25% come back. That's going to be 25 per individual that's going to come into my business. Those 4 individuals are going to bring me back to my return on my investment. So now I've made my money back. And the good news is now my wife or my husband or my significant other is not upset that I've invested 100 points into a business, or $100 or 100 euros or whatever it may be. I've invested that into the business. So my 4 times 100 points times 25%, which is our welcome bonus, equals that $100 ROI that I'm going to get back. So again, realize and recognize those are our goals to get people immediately back to even. And our goal to get them back to even is that they have an opportunity cost that's going to happen every month. So now we're going to talk about step 2, because step 2 is really, how do we get our product for free? And how do we make sure that we're teaching everybody how to duplicate and get that product for free so that I'm never paying for product again? Because again, I know you love the product, but I want to show you how you can cover that cost with your commissions every month. And that's going to be the goal. So as we go to that next slide, you're really talking about, again, cover your monthly product costs so that you continue to be qualified for commissions. So again, using some of the basic skills and the tools that we've created, for instance, the 90-day success planner. It's an incredible tool that you all have access to. It's in the back office. I think Diana has posted up the 90-day success planner, or can. It's a real simple tool to be able to use. You can find it in the knowledge base. You can find it in the back office. The reason that we bring it up is that you can use these to help you duplicate with your people, taking them down a very comprehensive list of what they need to do daily in order for them to get through the 90 days and have a good foundation of success in the road ahead of them. So as we look at that, we look at the unilevel commissions, because now we've gone through our enrollment phase, and now we've got our organization starting to grow and starting to develop. So that's where the unilevel commissions come into play. Plus we have the Power of Three bonus. So we're going to tie those together, and then we're going to work on building a team that generates enough volume so you're covering the cost, or you're covering the monthly qualification amount. And that ensures that your business runs in the black every single month. Again, that you're not covering costs out of pocket, but you've created enough revenue to be able to continue to give you enough commissions to cover the cost of your product every month. So how does it work? So as we look at the newest person, we've got the new you. We've got the $100 that's being currently spent in the three people that you've got. Now you've got the $50 total. So with the $50 Power of Three bonus, that's one that you now have your Power of Three structured in your first level. Now the next step of that is that now that you've got your 50, now we're going to tie that to your unilevel. So the next click is going to give you again another 7%. That gives you a $28 unilevel commission. So now you're at $78 currently in your duplication, but you're already working on duplicating those numbers. So as you're helping your people learn how to get their return on their investment, this is pure duplication, folks. I'm working with each individual in my organization. I've got my 3 people or 4 people, and I'm teaching them how to get the return on their investment. Well, that creates my level 2. So now my level 2, just below there, is creating a $42 commission based on the numbers of people that they've put in the system. Now I'm at $120 with my $50 Power of Three bonus. I'm now well over the amount that I need to spend to qualify for my commissions. And guess what, folks? I can actually use the money that's currently sitting in my e-wallet, not transferred out to PayQuicker or to iPayout, but actually leave it in my e-wallet and use that to spend back into my catalog to actually buy my product. So now I'm actually, again, commission qualified, but I never have to take money out of my e-wallet. So the goal is to keep earning enough that sits in your e-wallet every month. Use that money to buy your product so you're never incurring any fees or anything else. That's why we have the e-wallet there that's virtual. So you can use the monies out of that to be able to buy your product. It's a great system. And again, gives you that $120 a month to cover those costs. But you're not done yet. It was interesting. We were having a conversation about ceilings, if you will, and how people create a ceiling for themselves and they can't seem to get above that ceiling that they've created. Well, that ceiling that they've created is really created, again, mentally by them. And there's an old story and a bit of a use case about somebody that took a bottle, if you will, of fleas. So consider this to be a bottle, and it's full of fleas, little jumping fleas that get on dogs, little bugs that get on dogs. But they put a lid on that, and as the fleas jumped up and down, they couldn't go above the lid. So they would jump up and down, jump up and down, jump up and down. When you took the lid off, they still jumped only to the level of the lid. They could never get above that. Why? Because they had been trained and their mind had been trained to only go to here. That's where I don't want you. I want you to not have any lid. I don't want you to have a ceiling. I want you to think about how high you can go. And how high you can go is much higher than that lid that they give you or the ceiling that they give you. There's no ceiling here. You have as much opportunity as you want. So with lifestyle change, you're really talking about a lifestyle change. Anthony Robbins said it the best. He said for the average family, 500 extra US dollars, so 500 euros a month, would actually change the lifestyle of a family if they could add an additional $500 to their monthly budget. Think about that. What does that give a family? What does that give you? What does that open up in terms of opportunity for anybody? If you had an extra 500 euros a month sitting in your account, what could you do with that 500 euros? And again, for everybody, it's different. Everybody's goals are different. But the reason that I bring that up is the importance of understanding that you can have somebody say to you, you can only make this much. And you say, absolutely not. I want to go above that. I want to grow above that. So let's teach you how to get that extra $500 a month to your budget. Real simple. We can take people through a process where all they have to do is start working on that Power of Three bonus. So again, reaching that $500 benchmark is the duplication method that we're talking about right now. So duplicating on that first level, you've got your 4 people, they've currently spent their $100. You've now got your second level of Power of Three completed out because you've taught your people on your first level how to duplicate to their second level. Now that level gives you an additional $250 or euros that you're going to be able to use again for anything you want. But now that your organization is starting to grow, you're now seeing that their duplication model is starting to fill out your organization. So with that next step, you now have people joining your third level. So on the third level, that's where you start to see again this mapping that's going to duplicate and give you again many, many more people currently spending about $100 a month to qualify. That gives you another 28 on your first level, 84 on your second level, 140 on your third level, plus the Power of Three. You're at $502 a month in total commissions. So think about that. What does that do for your family? And I've always said this to people around the world. I've traveled to wealthy countries. I've traveled to poor countries. I've traveled to third world countries. And in a lot of those countries, everybody makes the same with Numi. So it doesn't matter the dollar amount. It matters the fact that if they have the organization that looks like this, they can make $500 a month without a problem. So in some countries where the average income is $400 or $500 a month, they can double the average income if they currently can make a $500 check with Numi. And that's really where the magic starts to happen, because belief starts to become a big part of what we're doing on a daily basis, is giving that belief to the people that they can start to feel like, I now can see that I can have success with Numi. Because again, this is a lifestyle change. This changes their mindset. By giving them that change, it allows them to open up their minds. And again, there's no ceiling here. So my goal is I can go as high or as big as I want. My goal now is, where do I want to take it? Well, let's start with that next step, which is step 4, because step 4 really gets into your rank advancement goals. Where do you want to be in Numi? I see a lot of people that want to really, really rank up to Diamond. It's kind of the big first push. So as people start running towards Diamond, of course, they get to Senior Member, 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, and then they get to Diamond. Well, when I get to Diamond, what does that look like in terms of my rank and my commissions that are associated with that rank based on volume? And you can take a real easy number and start to work it backwards, but we're going to do that for you, because naturally the checkpoints for growth and achievement are in your ranks. As you start to run up the ranks, you start to see, okay, I can do this. I've hit rank 1-star. This is exciting, but with that volume, it also gives me the ability to get to a higher number that I can then achieve. When I get to 2-star, what does that volume look like? How does that help me elevate my team, my goals, my people, and what does it do for my commission check? And that's really what we want people to start seeing. It's not about the day-to-day in terms of the pieces of the puzzle. It's about starting to see those pieces of the puzzle come into view, and those pieces of the puzzle start to build up. So as we go to the next step on this, you'll start to see how the rank starts to really develop and give you the ability to get to your personal income goal. Now, I always tell people, personal income goal is very personal to you. That's why we call it the personal income goal. I can't set your income goal for you. It's impossible. As a matter of fact, your income goal is so specific to you that you have to really sit down and analyze what it is that you want to accomplish with this business so that you can start setting your goals. So I always tell people, what is it that you want to achieve here? And if you tell me it's $1,000, I say, great, here's how we get there. If you tell me it's $5,000 a month in income, how do we get there? If it's $10,000 a month, or like I said, don't put a ceiling on it. Do not put a ceiling on this. Where can you go with the amount of opportunity that we can give you and the people that you know and the contacts that you're blessed with and the opportunities that present themselves to you? Where can you go with this? Because ultimately, you have to define your number. Your income goal is really about what you want to achieve. So it's about the vision that you have for your life. How do I want my life to be? What do I want my life to be lived like? Again, where do I want to go with it? So in a lot of different situations, and I do this training all over the world, and so I've had great feedback from different individuals, and it's always interesting because in these conversations, I've heard from people, and they've talked about the fact that, what would it mean to them to be able to take their children on a vacation, a holiday? What would it mean to them to be able to get a new car? What would it mean to them to be able to move to a new location in the city that may be a little bit more pleasant for them and maybe have better school system for their kids, maybe give them a better lifestyle so that they're closer to activities that they enjoy. Maybe it gets them out of crime. Maybe it gets them away from people that they don't want to associate with. All of these things are the values that people place on their lifestyle. It's what they want to achieve with everything they do every single day. So I recommend that every one of you slows down just enough to really map out your personal income goal. And I recommend you do it while we're on the phone today, while we're on this call, while you're sitting there listening to some of these things. Let it motivate you. Let it inspire you. Allow it to give you that thought process that says, I can do this. I just need to sit down and really put my time, effort, and energy into a plan that I start to map out so that I can see my future and I can also help my people that I'm leading, because ultimately you've got a lot of people that don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to get there. They've never maybe had the success in this industry. Maybe they've never had an opportunity to really have the growth that you've had. So it's our opportunity to help those people along. And there's nothing better. And I want to tell everybody this, there is nothing greater than being able to give people this opportunity to really see and feel success with like-minded people that they're surrounded with, that they really believe in. And so I'll leave you with this last story because, and I've told this to a lot of people. When I was with people, I've been with different people in different parts of the world. And we've had this discussion. We've talked about what it is that they want to achieve. And I've had people put out giant numbers, 10,000 a month, 20,000 a month, 100,000 a month. And I love all of that because it really does tell you that they haven't set their sights low. They've set their sights high. But if you're going to do that, give yourself opportunities for, if you will, different levels or benchmarks that you can set along the way so that you have some confidence that you're not just running as fast as you can. And when you can't get there to that $100,000, that you don't give up. That's one more rung on the ladder to continue to climb. It's one more step in the process that you need to step up. And so as you think about what I've just said, I want you to think about how that relates to not only yourself, but to the people that are so committed, that are so dialed into what you're doing every day, that they have no doubt that they can achieve the levels of success that they believe that they can achieve because you've given them the confidence, you've given them the training, and you've given them the assuredness that you're going to be there when they need it. You're going to give them the support when they're down and out, and you're going to help them achieve that level of success that they never thought they could. You're a winner when that happens. You have achieved something that most people will never achieve, and that's helping somebody continue to have success in their life. That's the type of person that Karen Justice is. That is the type of person that Karen literally spends all of her time working with people through not only the early stages of duplication, helping people get their return on their investment, helping them get their product for free, showing them these lifestyle changes, giving them the opportunity to set their targets for the ranks that they want to achieve. And then again, setting those big goals out there with, again, targets for benchmarks that they know that they can get to. So as you listen to Karen today, and as you understand her background, her knowledge, her wisdom, it will help you understand how you can then get to that lifestyle change for yourself, which is really those personal income goals, and then helping your team achieve, again, the same level of success that you want everybody to achieve. That's what you're going to see as we continue to grow. So again, I'm excited for you to be here with Karen Justice, to have a chance to hear from one of our NUMMI crowns. She's an incredible leader. She's got an incredible background. She's just a beautiful person, and you're going to learn a lot. So Karen, I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Aaron. Next slide, Sergio. I just want to make sure our slides are working.
Aaron, why don't you go ahead and give us an intro? I'm going to put the slides on here, but we're grateful to have you here today, and we're looking forward to learn from you. Thank you for taking this opportunity.
Okay, I hope you can get them up because all right. So for those of you who don't know me, I've reached the level of double crown. I am also a cartoonist, and I love to do that in my spare time. I love NUMMI. I believe that NUMMI is the greatest company to ever enter our marketplace, and I'm so grateful that my sponsor didn't take no for an answer when I started. And so I am hoping that I can really help you today and that you will take some value from this presentation. So I'm just going to start a little bit while Sergio figures out what's happening. Repetition is the mother of skill. Lack of systems is what's stopping you from it's what's stopping you from reaching the higher levels. And I want to be sure that you understand that you can do it. You can be a crown, but if you don't have systems, oh, there's one of my cartoons. Okay, you can do it. All right, I have to add a little cartoon. I love humor, and I think you know, being uplifting as a leader is something that's really important. That little sense of excitement attracts people to you, and you know, people like to have fun, and you can make this NUMMI business fun. We really are a family here. So the reason why I went so fast is that I followed a simple system. I didn't let my personality get in the way. I followed the system and I taught the system. And as I said, lack of systems can be what's stopping you from reaching the higher levels. Our products create great change. And when you've got a product like that, excuse me, it's so exciting because people get excited. You know, we have more commission payout than any other company I've ever seen. Our compensation plan is so honest. We pay 53 cents on the dollar. But the big reason for our expansion is that we have put our system in every language, and that system is duplicated around the world. There's a book that I've recently read. It's called Renewal for Field Leaders by Brett Blake. I highly recommend this book. It says, if you are a field leader, chances are you're extraordinary, and therefore what works for you won't work for most of your team. Remember that your goal is to empower the least skilled member of your team. Great systems make below average people successful. And that's a quote from him. And I believe that's true. You have to keep things simple. And we have wonderful tools at NUMMI, and we have a great system. So let's talk about the duplication quadrant. Okay, so no proper orientation when somebody comes in within that first few hours. It causes problems. A lot of people will lose their enthusiasm because they just don't really have help, as Aaron said. So it's really important to spend the time to orient your people. You know, you need to teach them things like know, you know, a little bit about information about compliance, make sure they've seen the compliance documents so we protect the culture of our company. And spending the time and creating that network of support that I'm going to be talking about is so important. So let's go to the next slide, Sergio. Okay, so Sergio, you've missed a bunch of slides. Can you go back to the beginning, Sergio? Further back. Okay, so the road to 1 star, let's go to the next one, the duplication quadrant. Or learn to do. Okay, sorry guys. I'm sorry about this. Sergio was having some problems with the slides before, but hopefully now it'll all move smoothly. And thank you for understanding. Okay, so you want to plug into the system. You know, we have great academy trainings in the back office. We've got our weekly calls. We've got our upline trainings. We've got our members night call. There's all kinds of team calls across the world. We have a great business presentation on Tuesday. So these are the things you want to learn to do. So next slide. Okay, somehow we've lost some of our slides, but just go back, Sergio. Okay. I'll move to there. Well, let me just go through some things before we get here. If go down one more slide, Sergio, this is really somehow these slides are in the wrong order. All right, so let's go back again. Okay, so let's start by plugging into the system. Let's start with the 1, 2, 3. You've heard the phrase NUMMI 1, 2, 3, NUMMI ABC. NUMMI 1, 2, 3 is about prospecting. So with NUMMI 1, 2, 3, I'm just trying to find where this is in my notes here. Hang on just a second, everyone. I apologize for this. Let's go back to the questions, Sergio. Let's go back to the questions. Because okay, first question. All right, let's start here. First question. Are you good at sales? Being good at sales and just getting products in people's hands won't work. It's why a lot of influencers fail and why they have so much drop off is because they can get the product in people's hands, but there's very few people that know what to do next, even if they've had some success with the product, if they haven't been properly brought into the company. So next one, please. Second question. If what you're doing right now, involves your unique skills, duplication won't work. And And that's why I said influencers can fall into this trap. There's actually 3 P's, and that's the product, the personality, which can be your Achilles heel, and the process, and that's the systems. And the process is what you need to add in, because 97% of people aren't sales type. I did a survey into a large company one time, into a downline, and what it came back as, the reason people got started, the average person, because as I said, over 97% aren't sales types. The reason that they got started was they realized that they'd be helping people. And as you do conscious follow-up, you can help people have that realization. The third question is, whatever you're doing has to be simple enough that that average person could learn to do it. And so that's what we have in NUMMI. We have a very simple system. So let's now talk about the NUMMI system. Okay, so success in NUMMI is as simple as 1, 2, 3, ABC. Remember, I just told you about that? And so let's start with the 1, 2, 3, and that has to do with recruiting. Okay, next slide. All right, the 1, 2, no, go back one, go back once, Sergio. Okay, so let's start with the 1, 2, 3. We have in the app all the tools you'll need to be very successful at recruiting. You can start off with, you see the 100-person list and all of that, but all of your wonderful videos are in the app, as well as a link that takes them right to the sign-up link so that they can sign up directly under you. So let's start with the next slide. Okay, so you want to connect your prospects. So this is the 1, 2, 3. You want to connect to the tools, connect to the leaders, and connect to the products. So let's go to the next one. We're going to explain those in detail. So you want to connect your products to the tools. This is the most important thing. Remember what I said about having a great personality, or a lot of times in networking, people talk too much. They try to explain everything themselves, and it makes for a very uncomfortable conversation. You want to connect them to the tools instead of doing that. So the main video that I always use is the hydrostat video, the 3-minute hydrostat video. It's always the first video that I send. Sometimes I'll send a follow-up video or two, maybe a video with Steve, maybe a video on an athlete, depending on the person. And sometimes just the 3-minute video. A lot of times just the 3-minute video. But that's what we mean by connecting to the tools. The first step when you're engaging with your prospects is connect to the tools. Next, Sergio. Okay. The next thing you want to do is connect to your leaders. And by that, we mean like doing 3-way calls. You might have the person that signed you up might not feel capable of doing that. You can go up line. You can usually almost always find somebody that will do a 3-way call. And a 3-way call is so good because it shows people that other people are as excited as you are, but it also lets you start to learn how to really do an effective presentation. Now, one of the things that I tell you is our products are so exciting. A lot of times people, at least this is what I found, they want to buy the product right away, even before the 3-way call. So whenever you've got an order, take that order and then as soon as you've got the order and, get it in the computer, get them onto a 3-way call, letting them know you want to introduce them to somebody that can answer any questions about the product and, just somebody else on your team. So it's very important. Connect your prospects to a leader, and that also gives the idea that we're a team, that we're, leverage is one of the most important things in referral-based marketing, and it starts to teach that, but it also gives them confidence that other people love this product as well. Next. Okay, now you want to connect your people to the products, and then by this we mean get them signed up. And as I said, sometimes that happens earlier. It sometimes happens right away. Sometimes just by the initial thing, I've had people say, "Oh well, if you like it, I want it. I want to get it." So take the order whenever you have it. But this is the normal progression of things. So connect them to the products. I like to say, you want to try to get people on auto ship, so let them know the reasons for that, the products. You want to commit 3 to 6 months at least to see the more dramatic results, and that the results are cumulative. I often will let them, as I'm talking about the product, I might bring up the $1,000 pack first. And I'll say it like this. I'll say, we have a number of getting started packages. There's a $1,000 pack, and a lot of people like to take advantage of that because there's extra free product. And we have a $300 pack that a lot of couples like to buy. We also have a pack for as little as $100 where you can get one of each of the 2 main products. So I'll say something like that. And when you introduce the $1,000 pack gently in that way, when you say a lot of people like to take advantage of the benefits, you'll find that a lot of people will end up buying that $1,000 pack because there's a lot of doctors, clinics, and all kinds of people that want to start with product on hand. So, okay, so once you and then you want to get them in your New Me Facebook group as fast as you can, so that they can see all the other people having great results with the product. And the Facebook groups are really integral, for building that sense of New Me community. So what does BAM-FAM mean? Book a meeting from a meeting. This is always important to do if you can. You want to, as you sign people up, you want to say something like, "Hey, you're going to be getting your products in a couple of days. How about we touch base when you get them? Just give me a call, or I can follow up in a couple of days, and we'll go over the best ways to take them and what to expect and everything." So you can just very gently book a meeting from a meeting. Next. So everything starts out uncomfortable. I always say less is more. You're not a scientist. You want to develop natural conversations, so use the tools. So now let's discuss ABC. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 was for recruiting or prospecting. ABC is for onboarding. So let's discuss ABC, effective onboarding. It's really important to do this step. As I said, you'll see a lot of influencers that have a different, more than average amount of drop off. And the reason for that is they're applying direct sales, and they're not adding in the part of network marketing. You can use direct sales, but you have to make the connections and take the time, or set up some sort of a system that gets people brought in by direct sales to the point where they're really connected to the company. As I said, I believe that this is the greatest company to ever enter the marketplace, and what creates that great team and starts to give you that momentum that drives you all the way to the top is onboarding correctly. So you want to connect your members to the app, to the bonus, to the community. So let's go over each one of those things. Okay. So the app, the app is being worked on right now, but we have great things in the app. Our app is the best app, I think, in the marketplace. It's a great place to practice the NUMMI 1, 2, 3 sequence. You can get with your new member and help them send out a video from the app. I tell my team to watch some of the videos in the app because it'll inspire. All of a sudden they'll think, oh, I've got to send this one to Betty, or oh, Frank would like this, or it's really important to take the time to look through that app and see all the wonderful things that are there. You want to take a little bit of time to work on their invitation. I always tell people, please don't say a lot in your invitation. Keep it a little bit of mystery. Keep it intriguing so that they will watch it. If you tell them everything, I've seen so many people that send out these huge emails, and the huge emails tell them everything. And then they say, watch this video. Nobody's going to watch the video because you've just told them everything and they think they know everything. And the video is a lot more exciting almost always than you are. So keep your invite intriguing and short. Okay, so next. Okay, so one of the things that really makes for a strong company is to talk about the compensation a little bit, but not go into it too much, because too much can be overwhelming, except for some of the people that have really been involved in networking before. Sometimes they want to understand the whole comp plan, but you want to at least go over it enough that they understand how to take the first little steps, how to get those bonuses. You want to help your people set targets and goals. You want to help them with some of these phone calls, their first phone calls, and work with them very closely in the first few hours so that they get these bonuses, because there's nothing more exciting than starting to see that you're going to get paid and you've had some success with it. Okay, next one. Community. Okay, this was what I was talking about before. This is where what I think makes great network marketing companies. The connections that you make as you create community are what weave your network and what make it strong. We have so many wonderful things in NUMMI. You want to explain the company's schedules. You want to make sure they understand when the company's team calls take place. As I said, you want to make sure that your members are really engaged in the Facebook group and the NUMMI New You group. A lot of networkers, I always like to make this joke, they talk enough at people to make their tongues suntanned. But if you want to be successful in network marketing, you have to really learn to listen. You want to have empathetic, engaged listening, not just, how do you, just not really listening, just thinking how you're going to respond. You can make wonderful friendships and deep connections in this business if you really practice listening. So you want to see how engaged your person is, and what their level is. You want to, I like to say that there's 3 C's. There's community, comes from caring and connecting people. You want them to also understand the power of leverage, that they're not in business alone. One of the most important things about network marketing is that power of leverage. That they have all of the benefits of your work as well as other people's work in their group, and not being in business alone, especially to people when they start off, is really important, because most people that come to the table are pretty timid. Remember, 97% aren't sales types, so they come into this pretty nervously taking these first steps. So you want to really underline that they're not in business alone. Belief is the most important thing in network marketing. You know, you see all kinds of people that have great attributes. Why aren't they at the top of a comp plan? For some reason or other, they don't believe that they can. If most people believed in themselves to the extent that they knew they could be a crown and make the kind of money I do and have the lifestyle I do, they would work really hard to do that, because you have to work hard to do it. But they don't have the belief in themselves. So as a leader, as you're onboarding and as you continue to do, as you follow up, you want to underline their small successes. You want to underline their good attributes. You want to create hope in their lives, and you want to let them see that they're not in business alone, and really create that network of support, because the tenacity that they will need to make it to the top in this business, because every business, whether it's network marketing or any regular business, has lots of ups and downs, lots of ups and downs. And so belief gives them the tenacity, you know, the stick-with-itness to make it through those bumps.
Davide,
Okay?
allora diciamo tra tutte quelle che mi hai mandato, sicuramente la prima è è la migliore, le altre lascia stare, Pestrino, Porto San Pancrazio.
Okay, so oh, good. All right, we had some Spanish in there for a second. You want to think of your group like, a lot of people are just always looking for the big builders or somebody like that. Some of my hugest builders, my most successful people, have come from people that just signed a couple of people, one or two. And inspiring people to at least do a little will give you some of your best builders. It continually opens up your contact base, and it has your group growing out in circles in all directions. And your group is very interconnected in that way, and can't be easily ripped apart or destroyed when, you know, something bad happens. You have a very firmly, carefully connected group. But it's really important to realize that anybody could be the next biggest earner ever, you know. All of the network marketing legends, you know, were once just ordinary people. A top earner that I met, he was the biggest earner I had met at the time. He was earning over 100,000 a month. He had a really, to put it bluntly, annoying personality, but he didn't try to present. He just presented enough to stick a tool in somebody's hands. And that's when I started to realize the power of systems, because he did incredibly well because they had a good tool. And so our tool is that 3-minute video. So success is as simple as 1, 2, 3. So do you want to go to the next one, Sergio? So that's inviting contacts, okay? And let's talk a little bit. Can we go right to the next one? Because I want to just take the time to do some of the, I wanted to give you today some dialogues that you could use. You know, I don't believe in being canned. I believe in speaking from the heart and having authentic conversations. But you want to keep that initial invite as short as you can, so that you don't have to be a scientist. You don't, because you're not. And you want it to be a more natural conversation. And you want to get them to watch the tool, which will do a better presentation than you probably could. So, you know, you can start with something as simple as hi, and then, you know, some small talk. I'm doing something that I found something that's really super exciting. You know, you can see the dialogue there. If I sent you a 3-minute video, would you watch it? And I've never had anybody say no to that. And then, you know, you do that BAM-FAM, which is book a meeting from a meeting. You say, well, when will you be free to for me to go over any questions that you might have? Because I can definitely get you the answers. Now, a lot of people have said to me over the years, Karen, I know people that I've worked with before or know in the past. I haven't talked to them for 5 years. I feel really strange calling them out of the blue. So this is the exact type of thing that I say when I call somebody that I haven't talked to for a while. I'm very direct. I get right to the point. I do it warmly. So I'll say something like, we haven't talked in a few years. I'm calling because I'm excited about something, or I might say I'm obviously calling because I'm excited about something. I started using this great stuff. I look 10 years younger. And then I've never had anybody not ask, well, what is it? And I just answer, there's a 3-minute video that explains it a heck of a lot better than I could. If I send it out to you, would you watch it? And they'll say yes. And then you say, and then you book a meeting from a meeting. So next slide, Sergio. Okay, so practice, practice, practice. I used to stutter. And so going on stage or anything is hard for me. And because when you used to stutter, you don't like people looking at you really closely, but I care a lot about people. And so I've gone out of my comfort zone to the point where, I'm fairly relaxed about it now. So, you don't need to worry if you're starting out and you think, well, I don't have those skills. I don't, I could never do that. I could never, even do a 3-way. You know what I mean? A lot of people feel like that. And you just move through it as you listen to a couple and realize that, hey, you could do it just as well. So I hope that this has helped. Guys, I'm so sorry for the confusion at the beginning. It's like the slides were backwards and I had everything presented in an order that I wanted to share it with you. So I hope you got what I had intended from this. I really wanted to try to help you the best way that I could by telling you it really is simple and just, when people try to complicate it, that's what slows it down. So if you're an influencer, add that second part, in some way, add that second part that lets your people understand how to plug into the system. Okay? So Sergio, that's pretty much what I've got to say.
Karen, bravo, what a wonderful presentation. Thank you very much for your time, your dedication, and you put a lot of good thought into this, a lot of heart, and we truly appreciate you. We know that these calls are going to make a big difference as we have our NUMMI family joining us from all over the world, a lot of growth, and we can't wait to continue doing them. So remember, every second Wednesday going forward, until further notice, we're going to have these wonderful onboarding calls. And if you have not purchased your ticket to Summit, today is the perfect day to do it. And also, as Aaron mentioned, he and Steve will be on the road starting this weekend for the following week. So make sure you contact our customer service if you have questions. All this information is on help.nummi.com so that you can also register and have your people there. Have a lot of success and go build with the Momentum promo this month of May. Take care, everybody.